Artificial intelligence demystified.
Okay, so here's a moment I think a lot of people in this audience have lived. You're sitting in a leadership meeting. Someone asks, "What's the ROI on the AI initiative?" And you watch the room go quiet. The project sponsor starts talking about efficiency gains and transformation potential, and everyone nods. But nobody actually puts a number on it. And you're sitting there thinking, is this a real answer, or are we all just agreeing not to ask the obvious question?
Yeah. And the obvious question is, what did we actually get back for what we spent?
Exactly, which sounds simple.
It is not simple. Today we're talking about AI ROI. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly why that number is so slippery and how to hold a vendor to account when it isn't. Before we get there, we need to talk about build versus buy, because it sets up the problem perfectly.
Right. I've heard that phrase a lot lately.
So build versus buy is the decision your organization makes between building a custom AI solution from scratch internally or buying an existing one from a vendor. That's it at its core.
Okay, and why does that matter for ROI?
Think of it like deciding whether to open your own restaurant or buy a franchise, building from scratch. You control everything, but you carry all the risk, all the cost, and all the time. Buying a franchise. Faster to open, proven model, but you're paying ongoing fees and you can't always change the menu.
So the costs look completely different depending on which path you took.
Exactly. And that's the point. Whether you build or buy directly shapes how you measure and prove the return on your AI investment. The costs, timelines, and risks are completely different in each path. Hold on to that. Because AI ROI is what happens when you actually try to add all of that up. So, AI ROI. Plain English definition. It's the measurable business value your organization actually gets back from an AI investment, weighed against everything it costs to get there. Money, time, people, and risk.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. What's the catch?
The catch is that last part, everything it costs to get there. Most people only count the license fee or the build cost. They forget the integration work, the change management, the staff time spent testing, the models that didn't work before one did.
Right, the hidden stuff.
And then on the value side, this is where it gets genuinely hard. Think about measuring AI ROI like trying to calculate the return on hiring a brilliant office manager. You know things run better, meetings start on time, suppliers stop calling twice, new staff onboard faster. But almost none of that shows up as a line on a spreadsheet. You can't point to one invoice and say, that's the value. The value is distributed across every person in the office, every week, in small frictions that simply stopped happening.
Huh. So you feel it before you can prove it.
That's exactly it. And look, this part of the analogy doesn't hold perfectly. An office manager's impact is bounded by one team. AI can scale across an entire enterprise, which means the upside is potentially much larger. But the measurement problem is proportionally worse. More people, more processes, more places where the value quietly lands without anyone recording it.
Okay, so here's a question that's going to sound dumb, but I'm asking it anyway.
Go for it.
Can't we just look at whether things got faster or cheaper and call that the ROI?
You can, and that's a reasonable starting point, but it only captures part of the picture. And sometimes the wrong part. AI often creates value by improving decisions, reducing risk, or freeing up people to do higher value work. None of that shows up cleanly in a speed or cost metric. The harder truth is this. If you only measure what's easy to count, you'll systematically undervalue AI that's actually working. And potentially overfund AI that looks great on a dashboard but isn't actually changing outcomes.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. We've probably been doing exactly that.
Most organizations are, and it's not laziness. It's that the easy metrics are right there, and the real ones take more work to define up front.
Okay, let me try to summarize this. AI ROI is the return on what you spent on AI. But it's harder to measure than normal ROI because the value shows up in weird places that aren't on an invoice.
Close. Let me sharpen it. AI ROI is the real business value you get back from an AI investment. Not just cost savings, but better decisions, freed up capacity, and reduced risk. Measured honestly against everything it actually costs to get there. The tricky part is that the return is often indirect, delayed, and shows up in places you weren't originally watching.
I'm writing that down. That's the one.
That's the one you can use in the room. Here's your scenario. A vendor is pitching an AI-powered service desk automation tool. They're claiming 40% cost reduction in year one. Your CIO is excited. Your CFO wants to sign off. You're in the room and something feels off. But you can't quite put your finger on why the number feels too clean.
So what's the one question I ask?
Tell me about a client who measured their ROI 12 months after go live, and what the number actually came in at versus the projection.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
That's the point. A good vendor has that story ready and tells it honestly, including where the projection was off and why. A bad vendor either doesn't have a real example, or suddenly the conversation gets very vague very quickly.
Next time someone asks what the ROI is on AI and the room goes quiet, I'm not going quiet with it.
Next episode, we're getting into a term that sounds like it's about being nice to robots. But it's actually about whether your AI can be trusted to make decisions without a human in the room.
See you then.